January 5th, 2017. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 117 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So if you follow us on social media, you probably already know that we had a pretty good session last week.
A very good session.
And we'll talk about that soon. So that's coming up. But first, we want to talk about some news. So first, remember a little while back, Paris had that big power outage.
Right.
Well, now the Rio is suffering from a power outage, not nearly as bad. Like the casino lights didn't go out or anything like that. But apparently on December 28th, a sink in a service area at the Rio overflowed, and it caused a fuse to blow.
That sounds like the plot of a bad movie.
I know.
Honestly, doesn't it?
It's like the Towering Inferno or something.
Right. Or, some one of the Taken movies, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens to the bad guy.
That doesn't really happen. Well, anyway, a fuse blew and power to some of the hotel rooms in the Masquerade Tower was cut off. Well, when the fuse blew, it started a small fire, and that set off the sprinkler system.
That always happens too.
That's right. And the sprinklers put out the fire real quick. But then water from the sprinkler system shorted out a fuse in the backup power system, and that shut down power in the remaining rooms in the tower. So 900 rooms altogether.
900 rooms, yeah.
So they had to evacuate some people. I think it was over a certain floor. They had to actually evacuate people. And, people with disabilities, they actually had to carry down, right? Because the elevators were out, that kind of thing. Well, anyway, as of today, a week later, 500 rooms, as well as the Voodoo Lounge, rooftop restaurant and nightclub, are still off limits while building and fire inspectors conduct further tests.
Now, is that tests for possible shortages?
Yeah, I don't know. But that's what horrible timing for Rio, right? Because not only did they miss New Year's, and they have to find, other rooms for people who are already there, but New Year's and CES is starting.
Right,
and,
that starts today. So, oh my God.
Yeah, what a mess. But nothing to do with the casino, at least. So
now this is Paris and now Rio.
Mm-hmm. Both Caesars properties.
What's going on there?
Oh, well, they filed for bankruptcy. That's what's going on there, right? They can't train people to turn off sinks. They can't afford to train them. So
that happens.
Sure,
you forgot the sink on and your whole house flooded.
Sure,
yeah,
that happens to everybody at least once. That's a rite of passage. Yeah.
Now, if they had said they were all gone for the weekend and a pipe burst, that I would believe.
That's right. Rio. Well, we weren't here. We had somebody to come in and look at the dogs.
It was Christmas.
But then we. So anyway.
Don't hesitate too long. People think there's a power outage. Keep it going, Mark.
All right. So, Total Rewards, Caesars Entertainment's Players Club, is currently offering a promotion called Quest for Rewards. And I'm just going to read from their website here.
Okay.
It says, for each Total Rewards property you visit and earn 25 tier credits at between January 1st and March 31st, 2017, you will get an electronic badge. The more badges you earn, the more tier credit bonuses and drawing entries you receive. Simply visit at least 2 properties and earn 25 tier credits at each to qualify for Quest Rewards. So when you earn badges, you're entered into a drawing for additional reward credits and tier upgrades, and the grand prize is an upgrade to 7 stars level through January of next year, or 1 million reward credits, which is what I think everybody would take. I don't know why you'd want to take.
Yeah, why would you want the 7-star status?
Because that's basically $10,000 in reward credits.
I think I stand in line at the buffet versus getting $10,000.
Yeah, exactly. You can also get more entries into the drawing by sending in postcards. You know how you do for sweepstakes and stuff. You can do one a day. It's unclear if that goes towards your tier credit bonus. But anyway, I
don't know how that postcard thing would work because it's not like you're visiting.
No, it's just
2 different places.
It's another way. That a lot of times with sweepstakes, they offer other ways to enter. Now, there's been some discussion about it over at the Do for a Win Facebook group, and some of the wording in the small print is kind of vague. And people who have actually called Caesars directly haven't been able to get clear answers. You know what that's like?
So a casino that doesn't give you a clear answer about some promotion? I've never heard of that.
You'd think, though, that if you're calling in to a number, that you'd actually be able to talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about.
It's probably the number on the promotion.
Right, in the small print, if you have any questions. So, but anyway, I'll post a link to the promotion in our show notes. And there's more to read there, too. I won't go through a lot of the details, but it shows, what you can earn.
Yeah. So now to get this $10,000, just one person gets that?
Yeah, that's a grand prize. You know,
Yeah,
they
that's
have
a grand
multiple prizes at the lower levels where you're
Like what?
you're upgraded to diamond if you're already there, or
Yeah.
you get like 10,000 reward credits.
Okay.
You know, things like
Or
that, which would be
something.
like $100. So it's
God,
various things.
$10,000. That'd be great.
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
And you can use those credits, transfer them to free play?
Assume so. Now, again, you can't do it all at once.
Right. No, because you have a limit each day.
Yeah, I think you can do only $500 a day if you're 7 stars,
Stars,
and
right.
well, I think for anybody. But if you're 7 stars, how many?
$625.
So
You have to use
$625 in reward credits translates to $500
free
in
play.
free play if you're 7 stars.
if you're 7 stars.
Yeah,
And
and
if you're diamond, it's something like $750.
It's something like that. But yeah, it goes. You have to use more the lower you go in the tiers like that. Yeah,
But
so.
God, think about that. I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
Well,
that-
keep in mind also, this is one person
Right.
in all of Total Rewards. So,
Right.
you know, it's a long shot.
Right.
Yeah. Now, it's funny. Eric Rosenthal pointed out something interesting in the small print of this promotion, and I'm just going to read from it. Potential winners who are residents of Canada will be required to correctly answer, unaided, a time-limited 90 seconds mathematical skill testing question. All answers to skill testing questions are final. Should a potential Canadian winner incorrectly answer the skill testing question, the potential winner will be disqualified.
Wow.
So they must have rules up there in Canada where you
Canada.
can't just win something. You actually have to
You have to have some
skill,
skill.
To get it for you.
So, I mean, I wonder what their question is. Is like, what's 1 + 1?
That's a
or
good-
is it,
it can't be
give
that
me
hard, yeah.
pi to 38 numbers or something? I mean,
probably somewhere in the middle.
yeah, you think
if
so?
you're asking.
A mathematical question.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know what it would be mathematically. Yeah, it might be something like, what's this plus this times this?
Yeah, it's like, what's the square root of 14? And we want it exact.
I think somebody who's smart enough to send in postcards and
Right.
earn at least 25 tier credits may be able to figure out the math. But I don't know. It's just interesting though.
It's
That Eric
just
sent that is
interesting,
interesting. Yeah.
I wonder if other countries have qualifications like that.
Well, it could be not even other countries, but other states might have
Yeah,
something
some
like that
state
too,
might,
right? Where you
right.
can't just be, a part, or there might be some states where you can't do it at all.
Sure.
But
sure.
then that
Maybe
might be
Utah.
that might be if it's Utah, there's no errors there anyway, so don't worry about it.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, you can go right across the border.
Well, that's true. If you're a Utah resident, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder how that would work.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, let's move on. Neither one of us is a lawyer, so we don't know.
All right.
And one final news thing too. So the IRS has made some changes to the way some gambling winnings are handled. Now, as you recall, since 1977, this has been the case. Any slot machine or video poker payout of $1,200 or more requires that a W-2G be filed. So anytime you've won something more than $1,200 on a slot, they have to fill out a W-2G and give it to you, so it goes into your taxes.
So the government knows you won some money.
So remember, almost 2 years ago, we talked about it on this show. The IRS was proposing that figure be reduced from $1,200 to $600.
Right.
And we talked about how stupid that was, that idea, because if anything, this was 40 years ago they implemented this $1,200 limit. If anything, they should be raising the amount.
Right, just by inflation alone, right?
As opposed to reducing it to $600, which, oh my gosh, talk about the paper. It should be $5,000 now. At least, yeah.
At least. Honestly, if it was me, if I was going to legislate something, 10,000.
Yeah.
Because if somebody wins 10,000, that's enough that it could change their life a little bit. They could buy a car maybe
that's true.
or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Seriously, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but really, what does 5,000 do for most people?
Yeah,
Right.
that's
I mean, it's nice.
Oh, sure, of
you
course,
love it,
yeah.
but you could go out and buy a new sofa for 5,000. Right?
That's a nice sofa, but yeah.
Yeah, but they do have sofas
Of
that
course,
are like
of
that,
course,
right?
yeah.
I mean, it's not that much money.
Well, it's the IRS, and they
And
want
600, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was 600 is absolutely
You could
ridiculous.
spend that
yeah.
on dinner with your family.
To go through all that paperwork. Now, of course, you should be paying taxes on anything that you win in a casino.
I'm not an attorney.
Yeah.
And that seems to make sense,
Yeah.
but we should really ask an attorney.
If you should pay taxes
You
on
should
what
pay
you
taxes,
win,
yeah.
I'm not an attorney, and I'm telling you should pay taxes on what you win at the casino. All right.
All right. I still don't agree with it.
Anyway, one nice thing is that the figure's staying at $1,200.
Good.
So that's good.
Good.
But one nice thing for people who play, especially people who play high limit slots, is now the casino can issue an aggregate W-2G for an entire session as opposed to a single win.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so if you're in the if you're high limit slots, you're probably hitting $1,200 wins constantly, right? So this is nice, and I think it's at the casino's discretion. And of course, they want to fill out less paperwork anyway.
Sure, that costs them money.
If you're in a session, you just play for 2 hours. I'm not sure the logistics behind it, but they keep track, and then you just get a single W2G at the end.
So what if you went into a high limit area and you hit a jackpot right off the bat for $1,500?
Okay.
And you played for another half hour, and in that half hour, you lost $2,000.
Yeah, okay.
So would they still write you a WG?
A good question. I don't know. I think they would because they're just looking at winnings. But again, I didn't look at the fine print here. But
basically,
it's
they might just be adding them up like, oh, he hit 4 jackpots for $1,500.
Yes.
We'll write him a
That's my guess. But again, don't quote me on this. But I'm thinking that they just keep track of all the $1,200 or more payouts.
Right.
And then that's what they finally write. And it's up to you to keep track of how much you actually won or lost.
Yeah, that would make sense because if it was the other way, that would be great for players.
Sure. Yeah, that's right.
Because seriously, my brother's done that where he's won a jackpot, gets his WG, and by the end of the night, he's down for the night.
Don't count on that. Don't count on that. No.
Of course not.
Yeah.
It's like when your property taxes, when your house value goes up, automatically your bill comes and it's higher.
Yeah.
When it goes down, you have to go in, file out a bunch of paperwork,
Sure.
go through a big rigmarole to get it to go down.
Yeah.
Why is that?
All right, let's move on to happier things. All right, let's talk about what happened to us last week. So actually, the week before our nice session, we had a terrible session.
We had a bad night.
It was, it was bad enough that I lost what would have been a bad night for you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how bad it was.
Yeah,
it really
bad
was
for both of
terrible.
us.
So we decided, maybe next week we won't go. We'll just take a week off. So we were talking about it, and we realized that, we were going to play poker the following week, and we were going to play on Thursday. Usually we play Tuesday, but we moved it to Thursday, and you were going to come.
Yeah, because it was the holiday, and I wasn't working.
And you had no bowling, because usually, you're bowling every week, and it's like, if you play... But you were coming to the game and hadn't come for a long time, so that was good.
Right.
And we were thinking about, we thought, hold on, Thursday night, poker ends at 10 o'clock, relatively early.
Yeah.
And we were thinking, wait, we've got a free play coupon for that Thursday.
For Thursday.
And we also have one for Friday.
Right.
So we thought, why don't we do this? After poker, we'll drive up to Harrah's. We will get our Thursday free play, and then we'll wait till midnight, and then we can cash in our Friday free play.
Right, because by the time we got there, it was going to be like 11:30 anyway.
Yeah. And again, thanks for coming to cards, because basically I took all your money.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I noticed that everything you won came from me.
It's true.
And the other people kind of divided a little bit of money up.
So,
but that worked out for me.
Ultimately, that worked out for you. Yeah. So anyway, we went to the casino, and we were thinking, we're not going to play at all. We're just going to get our free play. Maybe we can get some free food, which we ended up not being able to do. We forgot everything closes earlier on a Thursday.
On Thursday, it all closed. So by the time we got there was no food.
There was no food
open.
We thought, we're not going to play. Of course, in the back of our minds, we're both thinking, we're going to play some. I mean, how can we be up at the casino and not play at all? This is what we do.
Right. We probably knew we'd play a little, but we had no intention to play.
No. And exactly. We had no intention of playing. So we got there about 11:15, and by the time we'd gotten all our Thursday free play, we had 40 minutes till midnight.
Right. Which is a long time for us to be anywhere, really.
Let alone a casino.
A casino, it's like impossible. 40 minutes? What were we going to do?
So you said, come on, let's play some. And I said, okay, but here's the thing, Mike. It's been so bad lately. Like this matters. But I said, this is so bad, I'm going to bet the don't.
Right.
I won't bet the don't pass. I'll wait till a point has been established, and then I'm going to make a don't come bet.
One don't come bet.
Right, so that we won't be on the same number.
Right.
So, you could still win.
So theoretically, you can both still win.
Right. So that's what I did. After every point was established, I made a don't come bet. And if I lost my don't come bet, then I'd put it on another don't come bet. I got slaughtered.
Oh, it was terrible.
I mean, every shooter was repeating my point.
And it wasn't like I was winning a lot. I wasn't losing.
No, you were doing okay.
But I wasn't winning a ton. I was just kind of staying even. But it seemed like they'd come out on a 6 and then make a 9. You'd be on 9. A couple rolls later, they'd roll a 9. You'd get hammered. Then they'd 7 out, and I'd lose and you'd lose.
Yeah, there was only one shooter didn't repeat a number that I went up on the don't.
Right.
So it was awful. So I'm just thinking, here we go again, right? I'm on this terrible losing streak. You've been doing okay with these Vegas trips and these all tall smalls and everything.
Right.
I'm just going to lose it. I said, oh, God. So thought, all right, I'm going to switch over to pass line and come. And, of course, the table will shift and then I'll get, wiped out and it'll be terrible.
On what shooter did you switch?
I don't know, but it was a little while before you got the dice.
Right.
And luckily the dice stayed pretty hot.
Yeah. Well, right before I rolled, you rolled.
Mine was no good.
And yours was no good. But the two people before that, I think, had pretty decent
and
rolls.
I did okay. It's like, okay, good. At least I'm making some of my money back.
I think at that point you had half your money back and I was ahead.
Yeah, you were doing okay. So I had a roll, wasn't very good, and then you got the dice.
Oh my God. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is I made 8 points.
8 total points,
Yeah.
correct.
6 individual points, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10. And of course, the last one that we needed was the 5. It's
Yep.
always the 5.
It's so funny, but it was the fire bet. We were up. I think 10 was the second to last number. You
Yeah,
made
10
a 10.
was the second to
so
last.
5 was all that was left. So Mike only needed to establish a 5, which is hard enough to establish
right.
that last point, and make a 5 to win all 6 on the fire bet. And sure enough, you established a 5. I'm keeping my head down. I'm not even looking.
It was crazy. I think I made that 10, and then I did roll a 7 on the come out.
okay.
I think. And then the
That
next
sounds
roll
right.
was a 5, a 4 and a 1.
Yep.
And we were like, oh my God,
Yep.
we have a chance here. We have a chance
Yep.
here. And I tell you what, I don't get really nervous on any of that because, I'm excited, but not
Yeah.
really nervous. But
Yeah.
that time I was a little nervous.
I
Because
believe
that's
it.
the only time I've been rolling that we've been on it.
Yes.
We've been on it other times, but I'm not rolling.
Yes.
So I was just, oh, please, come on, just one 5.
I know. And so 5 was the number. You laid against it. You did not take odds on your pass line bet. You
No.
laid against it
I
as
had
a hedge.
quarter on the line. I took no odds, and I put
It was like $1,500 to win 1,000.
$1,500 to win
something like that.
1,000.
Yeah. And boy, it didn't take you too long, but
No, it was like
you made
maybe
that 5.
3 rolls later, and I made that 5.
Unbelievable that the only 2 times we've hit all 6 numbers on the fire bet have been when we've been rolling.
Well, yeah.
I rolled it on my birthday at VIMF, and then you rolled it on a night when we weren't even going to go out.
Right, and they're about 14 months apart. I was thinking about that.
Okay. Why
Right,
is that
Well, it
significant?
took forever to get the first one right.
Yeah.
We were talking on the show.
Oh,
about,
I see. You were
how
saying
long-
it-
and here it is 14 months later, and we do it again.
Okay, you're right. Yeah, it was earlier than expected.
Way
than the odds
earlier.
would be.
Way earlier than
So
expected.
it was the same in that, you needed a 5 at the end. But here are some big differences. The table here last week was full.
Was very full.
As opposed to when we were in Vegas,
Just
it was
you and I.
Yeah, we were the only ones on the bet.
Right.
So on this one, there were a lot of people who won on the
lot.
fire bet, and your roll was much longer. Remember when I rolled
yeah.
it was fast. It was
just
suddenly it
points.
was over.
Yeah, it was
but
just
you
points.
actually had a better roll overall.
Oh, yeah. There were a lot of numbers in between.
And
there.
one huge difference is that the dealers were on the bet.
Right.
They were maxed out at their $5, so they dropped $5,000 on
Did
the
you
fire bet
notice they
hitting
let
it.
them drop hundreds?
Yeah, you were talking about that before.
Yeah.
Where normally, green chips, $25
Yeah. I
chips,
mean,
are the
even when
most
I-
that they can put in their tip box.
Right. Even when I've won like a hard 8 for them for $50 and they get
Yeah.
$450, it's all in green.
Yeah, they have
don't
to all
let 'em
drop
put
in
hundreds in. But they let them put hundreds in because it was $5,000.
$5,000 in green would be quite a lot.
Even
in there, so.
hundreds, it was a lot of chips.
Even hundreds was a lot. They won't let them drop the chocolate. Now they paid all of us off in the chocolate, the $1,000 chips.
Right.
But yeah, for the dealers. So, and I put a picture up on Twitter and Facebook, and you can see all the numbers there and the payouts. So
Oh gosh,
it was unbelievable.
It was so,
yeah.
so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was. And the fact that we were making a lot of numbers, so it was a good roll regardless of the fire bet.
Right. I mean, it was good enough that not only did I make back all my money that I'd lost on the don't, well, of course, I had a big win for the night, but I mean, not even counting the fire bet, I came back quite a bit. So, yeah, quite a turnaround. Nice way to end the year.
Oh, God.
Very
it was
nice
the best way to
end
end the year. And the good thing is, we stayed for 2 shooters after that because it took a while to pay the fire bet.
Yes, right. Well, no,
Well, we
they,
had-
they gave us the chips, but there was still paperwork,
There was paperwork
we were waiting
to
on.
do,
Yeah,
right.
Mhm, yeah.
So, and get our driver's license back and
Yeah,
all
right,
that.
yeah.
So while we were waiting, we did the next 2 shooters, and they were both good. I
Yes,
mean, they
that
weren't
was good.
great,
Yeah.
but they were winning rolls.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we got our stuff back, we were like, okay, we're going home.
Yeah, yeah.
And we didn't gamble again for 2016.
That's right. That was the end of it.
Yeah.
And I will say this too, since we're talking about paperwork, remember when we hit it in Las Vegas,
Right.
we each won $10,000. We had to fill out some stuff, and they deducted 25%.
Right.
Here, since it's 5,000, and 5,000 is kind of the cutout,
Cutout.
we got all 5,000.
Right,
We
which
did
is
have we
nice.
did have to fill out some things and give our social and everything, but we got all 5,000
We got
for
all
the
of our 5,000,
so
yeah,
that
which was great.
Yep.
Another thing I want to say about that, there was a player on the table who's a frequent out there at Harris, and his name happens to be Mike as well. And he's a big gambler.
Yes.
I mean, you know,
he puts there's a lot of money out there.
there's
huh?
a
Yeah.
lot of money out
Yep.
there. Well,
Yep.
he never bets the fire bet.
That's right.
And he didn't on this roll
That's right.
either.
Yeah, right.
But at one point, the guy next to him said something about like, when we had made like 5 numbers, he said, "Oh, aren't you, upset?" He said, "Look, I don't bet the fire bet because if he makes the fire bet, I want him to make it. Believe me, I'll have won plenty of money."
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
true
It's
because
true.
he puts a bunch out there.
Yeah.
So a roll like that's great for him. Just the fact that there was 6 points.
Oh yeah,
is
exactly.
great for
right.
him, right?
And we've talked about a fire bet is a terrible bet from a house edge point of view.
And I was
over,
thinking,
like 25%. It is
he's
terrible
probably the
bet.
smartest guy on the table.
That's right,
I
yeah.
mean, we won it, but he's the smartest one because he doesn't lose it on all those immediate
right.
outs and stuff,
That's right.
And even though he's betting large amounts of money, he's not going to waste $5 extra.
That's right. Yeah, that's true.
Seriously, I was thinking this is probably the smartest guy on this table, right besides you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I'll admit that.
The guy who bet the don't. I'm betting the don't tonight, Mike. You look like an idiot. That's the other thing. I don't mind betting the don't, but when it's not going your way, you really feel
You
stupid.
really
It's
feel
like,
stupid.
what am I
Yeah,
doing?
the other people are looking at you, not wanting to say anything. Like, what's that guy's problem?
All right. Anyway, fabulous to now have hit the fire bet twice.
Well, and the
our
best thing
lives,
is it was at the end of the year.
Yeah, it was very nice to hit at the end of the year, and it certainly was great.
For you, it was great.
Yeah, because I was on a terrible
yeah,
streak.
you were on a
so
real
this
bad
was,
streak.
This was nice, yeah. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, when you're going to buy something through Amazon, go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. That way, when you make a purchase, we get a little kickback that helps cover the costs of hosting the show, and it doesn't cost you a thing. You'll pay the same price just like normal. All right, let's jump into our voicemail hotline. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512 wagers.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is Matt.
Hey guys, Matt from Phoenix. I wanted to number one say thanks for getting back to me on the Vegas must, so to speak, on that I sent you guys for Vegas Bright. That article should be soon here, if not already, by the time you're listening to this.
Yeah, Matt actually contacted us for an article he wrote for Vegas Bright on Vegas
Right.
Must, and he said, "Do you guys have any Vegas Musts?" And he said, if it's just craps, that's fine. I came back and said, yeah, I mean, we really don't have any Vegas
No,
musts.
we don't.
If we went to Vegas and we didn't play craps, we'd be miserable. So that's
we wouldn't go.
that's right. We
If you
wouldn't.
told me ahead of time, oh, the craps tables are all closed, there's a power outage, I wouldn't go.
That's true. Yeah, the power outage, the craps tables are closed. You can play other things.
Yeah, other
But
things.
the craps tables.
Well,
all right.
they got to count the rolls. That little thing that counts
Oh,
the
that
rolls.
counts rolls.
That must
Hey,
take some
that's
power.
right. Hey, we're going to talk about that.
and the shuffle master.
We're going to talk about that coming up.
But I wanted to piggyback off of a listener had a question on live poker in Vegas. I know there was a call about it the other day too, but I say go ahead and jump into a 1-2 no limit game. I mean, you'd be surprised how many people, if you play home games, you play home tournaments, you'd be surprised how bad the players are there. I would say if you're starting out, maybe avoid the Bellagio and Aria and Venetian. Those games seem to be pretty tough compared to some of the other casinos. I've played at 3 a.m. at Harrah's and Bally's, and those ones are a pretty good value. Usually the players are terrible, drunk, and throwing their money away. So that's a great way to get acquainted with it. And if that reckless game is a little too much for you, definitely short buy-in. I'm a big fan of buying in for $100, stealing up the table, and then adjusting from there. But hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas and keep up the good work.
Yeah, good advice. It depends on what do you like. Do you like limit? Do you like no limit?
Yeah.
I still think it's better to start, if you've never played in a casino before, start with limit so you just
Right.
get a sense of how everything works. And
Does limit games seem to be a little friendlier to you than no limit games?
I'll be honest with you, Mike. I've never played no limit cash
Okay.
at a casino. I've played no limit tournaments, of course,
Right.
but never cash. So I don't know.
Yeah,
That's a good question.
because I played them both, and it seems to me like limit games people are a little more friendly
Okay.
than a no limit game. And that may just be me, might just be my experience, but it has seemed to me that way. So if you're going there hoping that, you could have a little chat with the other people at the table, in a no limit game, that's probably not going to happen.
Not as much.
Not
Okay.
as much. It would
I
seem
guess
to
I
me.
can see that.
But I do like his advice about buying in for a small amount.
Yeah, short
checking out
stack.
the
We had
table.
another caller too who said that don't buy in for the full amount, but maybe
Right.
buy in short and then see how it
Sure,
goes.
and then if
yeah.
you don't like it, it's easy to walk away,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh, I'm busted, and you're out of there, right? You buy in for 500, and it's like, where's that guy going?
Yeah. We have another call about poker and casinos.
Hey guys, this is Matt Bob from Indianapolis. Enjoy the show, first of all. Love what you guys do. But I wanted to make a comment. A couple weeks ago, somebody called in who was a poker newbie and wanted to know how to start playing poker, and you guys made a great suggestion, sticking to limit. And then I think it was Dan from Baltimore called in and said that they may want to try low buy-in tournaments, and that they could check the hotel websites for all that information. I just wanted to comment and say that there's this website called PokerAtlas.com where you can actually get a list of all the tournaments in Las Vegas, and you can filter them by the buy-in amount, by the time they start, by the day of the week, by the area of the strip. It's really a great resource if you're looking for poker tournaments in Vegas. And it also lists all the hotels that have cash games and the limits for those games. So just thought I'd pass along that information. Enjoy the show. Have a great day. Thanks.
Yeah, good advice.
Oh,
I checked out
great.
the site. Yeah,
That's a great
It looks like a
advice.
really good resource because then you don't have to go to all the individual, casino sites. And maybe this isn't true, but I'd think maybe something like Poker Atlas might have better information than the actual
Right.
casino websites.
Yeah,
They don't
sure.
keep it up as much.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know if
probably
that's
not-
necessarily true.
Well,
or not,
I
but,
bet you it is
yeah,
because
could
I
be.
doubt if the casinos update theirs very
Yeah,
often.
yeah.
This is probably updated regularly,
Yeah,
right?
so, yeah.
So, do you have a link on the
Yeah,
show notes?
PokerAtlas.com, but I'll also
Okay.
put a link in the show notes.
Good,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you can go
That's
directly
great.
from there.
Thanks for
Yeah.
that information.
Yeah, very good. So, as everybody knows, Mike got back from Vegas here recently, and he refused to go to the Lucky Dragon
Nope,
to check
not
it
going
out.
there.
So we didn't get any report for him. So
Well, I'll tell you what. When the Lucky Dragon puts in a craps table and invites me to play there,
Yeah.
I'll be there.
okay, very good. Well, in the meantime, we have.
Now, somebody's going to call them. And I'm going to get this phone
that's
call.
right. Yeah, no, it's not happening, sir. We just wanted to follow up with you. No, we're not putting.
Go to
craps
hell,
in.
Mike.
Anyway, Yahui's picking up the slack.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. I was in Lucky Dragon last weekend, and it was a Sunday. Not many people there. Lots of baccarat table. They offer import beers from China, Qingdao, and I don't know how to play baccarat, so I sat down at a UTH table, bought in for like $300. The thing is, the dealer barely know how to deal. They know the basics, but they've been having a hard time comparing my hand to their hand. So I've been showing them all the way. However, I've been slowly draining to like $50, and I guess it's karma. In like 15 minutes or so, I got back from $50 to $300, so I cashed out and got $18 food comp. Tried their 24-hour place. It is pretty bad. I played my first crap in a real casino during this Las Vegas trip. Find a empty $5 table. Played for like 2 hours. We have to catch a show. I was down like $50, and then I placed my $1 chip on the hard ways. Hit 3, hit hard 6, 8, and 10. So turned $4 into like $48 in the end. Very fun game. Thank you. Happy holidays.
Wait,
Bye.
Yahui in the room here with us? That I heard that through my earphones, all
Right,
that stereo and everything. Oh, I think Yahui's here. Yeah, good. So thanks for that report. He didn't play craps at Lucky Dragon. I followed
there
up
is
with them
no
because there is
craps.
no craps. Yeah, he said they went to Sam's Town and played. So, but anyway, thanks for that report on Lucky
Yeah, it
Dragon.
was good to hear about the dealers. A lot
Yeah.
of times when new places open,
Oh, yeah.
they do get a lot of rookie dealers.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, it's kind of like where you go to get a starting job,
Yeah,
right?
and that could be. That's
And
why a
so-
lot of advantage players, rush to,
To-
an
right,
opening to try to
yeah.
take advantage
Oh,
of,
well,
dealer
yeah.
mistakes and stuff like
yeah,
that. So,
if this was a case where you were trying to look at some hole cards,
Yeah.
that might be the place to go.
Yeah, no kidding.
But that'll end quick, though.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think, and we'd have to ask our dealer friends, but I think when you start, you pick it up pretty darn quick because, I mean, you're doing that 8 hours.
Yeah.
You know, by the end of a couple of months, you should be pretty.
I think some of it depends on natural talent too.
Sure,
You know, there's
right.
some people
Oh, well,
just pick
sure.
up on things like that real
Yeah.
quickly. You know,
Right. Some
so-
people are
and
a
the
little
math
more,
and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Some people
yeah.
are a little more adept, but anyway, and good advice about the 24-hour place.
Yeah, not good, I guess.
Yeah,
oh well.
you know, that's pretty common, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at the 24 hours at Harrah's Resort in
Oh
Southern
my God.
California.
Yeah, biting into that fish that
Yeah.
you could not bite all the way through.
You know,
It's
there's
just
no
like
way
a-
to really adequately describe that. When we talked about that before, I didn't do it justice. There's no way to describe that.
It's terrible.
I mean,
it was terrible.
Yeah, I don't know how you describe that. It's indescribable.
Yeah, it was bad.
That's what they should put on their menu.
yeah, indescribable. And then just a sick face, right, with his
right.
tongue sticking out. All right, let's hear from Robin from Anytime Gambling.
Hi, guys. This is Robin from Anytime Gambling.
Oh, yeah.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy
Same to you.
Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, and Merry Solstice. I wanted to give you just a few thoughts from 2 podcasts ago, kind of said a few things that I wanted to comment on. So first of all, I know that people are starting to report on National Harbor, MGM's new casino. And so I took it upon myself to compare MGM National Harbor with the 2 Connecticut casinos, and they're on my site. You can compare them, just basic facts like square footage and hotels and dining options and things like that. It's just a very quick review of all that kind of stuff. So if anybody's interested, they can check that out. You had mentioned that Penn National in Hollywood, your informant seems to be onto something in terms of how they run their management of the casinos. We have 2 of the 7 casinos in New England, and one, the latest, which is Plainridge in Massachusetts, does not have a hotel, and obviously follows what Dr. Mike had found out a couple weeks ago. But the other one in Maine, in Bangor, Maine, is just the opposite. It was built with a hotel and gives out less slot play, and it's kind of an odd duck in terms of what that whole format is that Penn National includes. They do have a raceway. Both have racetracks, both harness tracks. And the one in Maine was built in 2005, but didn't get table games till just 4 years ago. So it's a little bit of a different from the norm from what Penn National is trying to do. And it's true, don't see any retail concerning either of the casinos. They both have gift shops, and that's it. So that was pretty informative for me to take a look at the 2 casinos here in Hollywood to see how they would compare to Amul. And finally, guys, I'm sorry about the Browns beating the Chargers, man. It's a long way from the Hadel Allworth days, huh? As a Patriots fan, I remember the old AFL and the great years that the Chargers had. So, sorry, guys. I just hope the Chargers stay in San Diego. Have a great holiday again, and we'll catch up later. Bye.
Yeah, we have a mutual friend also named Mike who weeks ago said, yeah, the Chargers are going to be the first team to lose to the Browns this year.
Right.
And he was right.
Yep, of course. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Mike's pretty astute, but probably a kid could have told you that. I mean, my God.
We complain so much. Look, folks, January 15th is when the Chargers are announcing their intentions to either...
Supposedly, I heard today that is a soft
God.
thing. You know, the NFL said, well, by January 15th, you have to decide, kind of.
Oh, my God. Well, they're either staying here or going to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You heard today it's now a soft date.
They said this is soft.
I was
That's
hoping.
What I heard
I was
today.
hoping on our next show we could just say, "Well,
That's it. They're
They're gone. we won't complain about it."
I also
again, but-
heard there's a rumor going around San Diego. I don't know if you've heard this, that they are going to go to LA, right?
Yeah.
But since it's not going to be available till 2019, they're going to play 2 more seasons here in San
Oh,
Diego.
come on.
This is what they were saying. And during that 2 seasons, hope to work out some kind of deal with San Diego to stay here. So in other words,
so we're
the
going to have
NFL has kind of said, well, you can come here, but if you work something out in those 2 seasons,
Oh my
you
God!
can
So we
stay
got
there.
2 more years. All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
So,
I want to comment about Robin saying about Penn National in Maine.
yeah.
So maybe that Maine casino having a hotel, maybe that's about location
That could be maybe.
because maybe there's not anything in the area for people to stay. Maine's kind of out of the way. It's not like, Maine's in the central United States or
it's true,
something.
yeah.
It's kind of like an endpoint, right?
Yeah.
So, in order to get people, maybe they had to have one there.
That could be. I will say this, we talked on previous episodes about how we'd been getting a lot of comp offers from Hollywood Casino here that's Penn
Right.
National. We haven't gotten anything lately. Now, we haven't played there in a while,
Well, right.
but yeah, that kind of dried up. So, yeah.
But I was thinking, Maine, the population around there may not be great.
That could be, sure.
And if there's
That's
not a
okay.
lot of local population, you've got to get people to come there. And if you're going to get people to come there, you better have somewhere for them to stay.
Yeah, no, that's
As
true.
opposed
That's a good
to
point.
here, where they're relying on all the locals.
Yeah, that's true.
They're
and
still
people who
players.
do come in, there are other places to stay. It's not like they're
they'll stay at Sequan or one of the other casinos, right?
That's true, and
then
just travel to the other
there,
ones. Yeah,
right?
that's true. And I'll put a link to Robin's post that he put comparing National Harbor to the Connecticut casinos. All right, let's move on to Kristen. I think he may have a drink coming his way.
Hello, Mike and Dr. Mike and Mark. Wow, I'm kind of drunk. My name's Tristan. I'm from Orange County, and although I am kind of drunk right now, I believe Dr. Mike owes me a cocktail because he said point out a mistake and get a well drink at Harrah's. So my mistake is he said his dad has never listened to a single episode of the show, but I remember him being at Vince in the crowd when you guys were doing your episode. So
Correct.
He has listened
He
to
is
an
correct.
episode of the show. Let me know what you think. All right, bye.
Good stuff.
I think I owe him a well drink.
Yeah.
It is true. He was there.
That's
did
right. He
listen
was
to that.
forced to listen to the whole thing.
Now,
Folks,
whether he was listening or not, I can't vouch for. Because there's plenty of times this. You talk to him and you wonder, is he listening?
oh, sure, I know.
He might even be talking to you. But
Here's what people need to keep in mind. First of all, you can't take anything that Mike says literally.
that's correct.
And this is a problem for me because I take everything literally,
Yeah.
right? I mean, how many times am I answering rhetorical questions? It's like
All
all
the
day long,
time.
right?
That's all you do.
People hate it,
Yeah.
but I take
That's
it
all you
literally,
do.
right? So when you say, yeah, my dad's never listened to a show. Never?
Yeah, I just mean, not a lot. But I still will buy Kristen a drink.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So
you-
get down to Harrah's
Yeah.
on a Friday night.
Yep.
And I'd probably buy you more than one.
Wow, more
I
than
might-
one well
yeah,
drink.
More than one well drink.
Nice.
I might contribute to his, drinking a little bit.
Oh, good. Yeah. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. It sounded like he was a
as
little
long
drunk.
as he's
but
staying overnight.
Okay, all right.
I got no problem with that.
Okay, good. All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Will from North Carolina again. And I actually just finished up on my most recent Vegas trip. And what was cool about it is I made more money from craps on this trip than any other trip I've had. And the big part of the reason why is I wasn't afraid to play the don't some. Now, remember back on the episode you guys talked about playing the don't, Mark said that even though it doesn't make a difference mathematically, emotionally it's not a good idea to switch back and forth between the don't and the pass because it'll just drive you crazy knowing when you're choosing right and when you're choosing wrong. And to start off, that was the case for me because I was going back and forth and I always chose wrong. Like the table was cold and I was on the pass. I would switch to the don't. People would hit points and it was driving me crazy. But it did pay off perfectly a couple of huge sessions for me when I nailed it just right. One time I got to the table, a couple other people were playing the don't, so I played it as well. The table was ice cold. I think there were 10 shooters in a row that couldn't hit a point. And we were just making money even though I wasn't even playing the don't come. And then at just the right time, I switched over to the pass line. The table got hot and people were just nailing numbers. I was loading up place bets and pressing them. And I made so much money that night because I hit it perfectly both times. And it's kind of like Dr. Mike said with craps. A lot of times you feel like you just want to survive long enough so you see that hot roll. And even though I got really, really lucky and it's extremely hard to do, it felt so satisfying to not only survive, but actually make money when the table was cold and then make even more when it got hot. And again, it's a hard thing. I know I got lucky, but it was just the coolest thing. The other thing is that I noticed that other players don't mind you playing the don't as long as you're not happy when they lose. Like a lot of times I would do things like when I switched to the don't, I would say, oh, look, you guys are going to win now that I'm switching to the don't. Or if they actually did win, I'd be like, hey, I'm glad at least you guys won money. Or if I won, I would say things like, oh, geez, this table really is cold. And I realized that nobody minded me playing the don't as long as I was, supportive of them when they lost. And I felt like I didn't have to just stay silent when I played the don't. So I still had a good time even though I did it. And that's one thing that's kind of fun about switching back and forth. All right, guys, I always appreciate it. Bye.
I think it's going to depend on the personalities at the table.
Sure, of course.
Because again, when I'm playing the don't, I never cheer when I win. I
Right.
keep it. But there are some people who hate it.
Now, 2 weeks ago, when we were getting our butts kicked,
Yeah.
remember that guy came sat at the other end of the table from us, and he was playing the don't. Everyone on the table was on the pass line.
Yeah.
The rolls were so cold. That guy was winning.
Yeah.
And he was whooping it up.
He was loud and cheering, calling for a 7.
Yeah, everybody was not happy.
Yeah.
And the dealers were even not happy.
Right.
When he left, one of the guys said, thank God.
Yeah.
And then he came back later and the table was hot and he got his butt kicked.
Yeah.
But he was the extreme.
Right. And
was
Will's saying, you don't want to, cheer like that. Yeah.
Right.
He was terrible. But again, it is great if you have players who are knowledgeable and know that, it doesn't really matter, and you can strike up a conversation with them. But every once in a while, there'll just be some people who just don't like don't players and are going to treat you badly no matter how well you treat them.
But we've had people sit next to us and play the don't who would say stuff to us like, "Oh yeah, this is a cold table. I just got it." And you understand that, right?
Sure, and we'll talk to them, of course, because we know,
and we're like, go for it. I hope you win. We can both win.
Yeah,
but
it comes perfectly. You can both win, sure.
Right, and it's like when that patient of mine that does like you do, and he goes on the don't after the come out is made.
Yeah.
Then I would have absolutely zero problem with that.
Yeah.
Because we can both win that way.
Sure. Yeah.
So, it's one of those things, but nobody likes somebody whooping it up.
Yeah, of course.
If you're just talking normally, I don't think anyone would.
It sounds like Will, handled it perfectly and was with a good group that, kind of understood, and he ended up winning too, so that was good. So
yeah, I think it's best to either be with seasoned craps players who understand how it goes, or newbies who have no clue how it's going.
They can't,
But the guy who's played a little and kind of has an idea, he's the guy that might be upset.
It's got an attitude. We hear it on other podcasts.
Yeah,
there are people who don't like the don't players. So, all right, let's hear a trip report from Biloxi.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Shannon from North Carolina. Just wanted to give you a report of my recent trip to Biloxi over Christmas. I arrived on December 25th, about 7:30 at night, stayed 2 nights at the Scarlet Pearl Casino, which is the newest in Biloxi, and then the last 2 nights I stayed at the IP Casino. Love the craps in Biloxi. They have 10x odds on all craps games except for the IP, which has 20x. At the Scarlet Pearl, the dealers are very friendly, very knowledgeable. Just love the crew there. The only thing I don't like is the tables are new and bouncy, and the dice tend to roll off the table a lot. But I highly recommend playing there. They always have a $5 table, even on the weekends. Now, at the IP Casino, the tables were really, really crowded on Tuesday, and I couldn't get in there until about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, but it was worth the wait. I actually had the best roll I've ever had, and if I could have made a 3, I would have had the small, tall, and all. Still made the tall bet, couldn't get that 3. Still, it was a great roll, and I highly recommend that you take a trip to Biloxi in the future. I know you'd love it. Thanks a lot. Keep up the great work, and I'll keep listening. Looking forward to the next podcast, and happy 2017 to you.
All right. Thanks for the report, Shannon.
Yeah.
It seems like
I'd like to go there.
we are all talk and no action. You and I need to sit down and seriously decide where our next non-Vegas gambling trip is going to be. Is it going to be Connecticut? Is it going to be Biloxi? Is it going to be something else?
Well, mine's going to be.
Well, I know you're but you're just happen to be there, and you're going to go to the casino one night, right? It's not like it's a gambling trip, right?
No.
Because Atlantic City, that was our last really big, non-Vegas trip, and that was a few years ago now.
How far is Biloxi from Graceland?
Oh, it's like 375 miles away.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
It's not.
So it's not that close.
No.
Because I was going to say it'd be easy to convince my wife.
Oh, she want to go to Graceland?
Oh, yeah. If we could go to Graceland and Biloxi at the same time, she would love that.
Oh.
I mean, that would go. I don't know if your wife would want to do that.
I don't know.
She's just wanted to go to Graceland to see Elvis. She's a big Elvis fan.
All right. Well, my wife is too. Yeah. That's true. I mean, so maybe that
would be a thing like where we go there. We stay a few nights and we drive to Graceland. Yeah. And we drive back.
Yeah.
That's a day's drive.
It's like 375, 400 miles away. So I don't think that's no.
That's a long drive.
Let's think of something else. But we need to discuss it.
How about we fly to Graceland?
Oh,
we stay there,
now
you're
all right. Now you're getting too complicated. We'll discuss. But we got to do something here.
Yeah, we definitely need to go there because I hear great things about it, and I'd like to go.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Me too. All right. Next call.
Hi, guys. This is Rye. Just wanted to give you a call. I took a trip to downtown Vegas, and it was my first time staying there, and I had a really, really good time. I was giving you a call because I played some craps at Fremont Casino, and they do have the craps counter there. And I was wondering if you guys had spent some time there and what were some of the high rolls that you might have seen if you had spent some time playing there. When I was there was 2 players consecutively. One rolled, I think it was 26 rolls, and the other one was 31 before they finally 7'd out. And I thought those were pretty good rolls. Everyone was having a good time.
Very good
$5
rolls.
limits there. Unfortunately, only 2 times odds. I usually play sports, don't play a ton of craps, and I was using some of Mark's advice just to play pass line with full odds and 2 come-bets with full odds. And I really wish they would have had some 3, 4, 5 times odds. I think we all at the table would have made a lot more money. So kind of frustrating. It was just 2-time odds. I was curious though. You guys had a bad experience at Binion's playing craps there, and I wasn't sure what episode number that was. So I was wondering if you can help me out and provide me with that episode number. Just wanted to check that out. Another thing I wanted to reach out to you guys is for some advice. When I would go to the tables, I ended up signing up for a club card at the D. I really like staying there. It was a lot of fun. And I'm just curious. I bounce between tables, and let me ask, do you guys give the card each time you go to a new table, or how do they track that? Because I think I cashed in for a couple hundred, and then I played the last 80 I had at a second table that I went to. And I didn't give the card. It was kind of busy. I didn't want to slow things down. So I was just curious, do you guys, if you do switch tables, do you give the card, or how does the casino go about keeping track of that? Thanks so much, and I really enjoy the show. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.
Yeah, anytime you switch tables, you should give them your card again.
Right. If they still have you at the computer, if the pit boss for some reason is working like 2 or 3 tables and he still has you, he'll say, "Oh yeah, I've got you," and he'll move you over.
They'll watch you.
But-
Sometimes they'll know, but you don't know.
You don't know that, and they won't say anything. So you should always give them.
Always
your card.
give your card. Again, if they already got you we got you, let's just give you the card right back. So now, as far as our bad experience at Binion's, it happened at VIMF in 2015. So if you go back to episode 85, it's our VIMF wrap-up show, and we talk about the bad experience we had with Binion's, just complaining about our rolling and not hitting the back wall and all that stuff. And also, if you go to our webpage, you can actually search through all our show notes to find, specific topics that we talked about. In fact, when I'm trying to find an episode number, that's what I do. I just go to the website and use the search there. Yeah. Listener Patrick actually suggested that we move the search bar higher up on the page because I had it kind of buried down below where you wouldn't see it. So I've actually put it higher up on the page here, but you just go there and it just says, show notes search, and you just type it in there and look.
Yeah. So that was the last time we played at Binion's then.
Yes. I think at this last VIMF,
October 2015.
No, we didn't go in, did we?
No, we didn't. And I'm not going to go in anymore. They treated us so poorly.
It was so bad. Now, as far as Fremont goes, now this is interesting. I'd forgotten that Fremont is the one that has the counter that they keep track of.
Right.
And yeah, if you had a 26 followed by a 31, that's great to have 2 back-and-backs like that.
That's great rolls, yeah.
What I didn't like to hear was that now they have $5 limits.
Yeah.
Now, the reason that you could put up with just double odds there was because they had $3 tables, and that was kind of their claim to fame was, hey, you've got cheap craps here downtown.
Right.
But now if it's $5...
Oh, that was perfect for a guy who had $100 and wanted to play.
Now, if it's $5, there's no reason to play there. Although I haven't played there in a long time. I don't know. Maybe they have good crews and, whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you can find, 10 times odds for $5 tables with 10 times odds.
$5 and double odds, that's,
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, you might as well go down to the Strip and play at...
at Wynn?
At Wynn, yeah.
We should, next time we're downtown, let's check out Fremont, though, because I'd forgotten about the counter they have up there. I'd like to at least check that out.
Yeah, so, those are good rolls. Now, you could have 26 rolls and have a lot of craps in there and stuff.
Well, of course, yes. They could be just a bunch of things that don't fit.
But chances are those were pretty decent
Anytime
rolls.
you're 20 or more, that's probably a good roll.
Yeah.
Depending on how you're betting, of course.
Right.
But yes. Yeah.
I could still lose on those rolls.
Oh, I can find
a way to lose.
You need to get to like 35 or higher before you're actually making any money.
I can find a way to lose on the 20 rolls.
I've seen you play. All right, next call.
Hey, Dr. Mike and Mark. This is Ethan from Virginia. I haven't called in for a while, but I have a bunch of stories about my gambling experience since the last time I called in. First, back at the end of August, I went to Vegas for 7 days, and the first 3 was with my buddy Doug to celebrate his birthday, and Vegas kicked our butts and was the start of the worst gambling loss we've ever had. By the time he left and my coworkers showed up for the second work portion of my trip, I could barely bring myself to gamble. But luckily I did, and I made a little bit back of what I lost.
Good. Hang in there.
Then I went down to LSU for the LSU-Alabama game at the beginning of November, which was a great experience. There's tons of pageantry and great food, po' boys and oysters and all kinds of stuff. But while I was down there, I did get to gamble. on a riverboat, which was a lot of fun. We went Friday night after the bar shut down, so I was pretty inebriated when we got to the craps table, and it was pretty full. And I turned to my dad and said, man, the table's full. And these two guys at the table said, get over here, there's plenty of room, let's make some money. You gotta love the Southern hospitality. From what I remember, they had at least 5 times odds, and make money we did. Then after the LSU game, I had to head straight to Palo Alto, California for a few days for my work meetings, and I did get a rental car and drove to Sacramento for an event up there, and on my way, I saw the Thunder Valley Casino, and I couldn't pass up the opportunity, considering my hotel was only about 2 miles from it. So I finally got my taste of California craps. There they used the red and the blue die, which determines which card gets flipped over, and on each card had a combination of dice, which I didn't really care for that much, although I did make $100 after about an hour, and I had a chance to throw the dice. So I called it an early night and left. And now on to the MGM, and I know a couple people have called in, and I'm probably going to repeat a lot of the same things they've been saying, but I did go up there Friday after opening night. There were only 2 $25 blackjack tables. The rest were 50 to 100. The craps tables were also 50 to 100, which is absurd to think about considering I usually play pass line, 2 combats with full odds, meaning you could have up to $1,700 on the table out there for $100 craps, which, again, just absurd and way out of the realm of possibility for my gambling. The casino felt really cramped to me. There's tons and tons of slot machines. I saw one row of slots where the chairs were pulled out a little bit, like the backs were touching and you couldn't even walk in between them. So hopefully they'll get some of that straightened out and rearrange some stuff. You know, it wasn't like the MGM in Vegas at all, just huge. It's actually, compared to Maryland Live in Charlestown, the MGM does have the smallest floors. However, they do have the Hangover-themed slot machine there, which is a crowd favorite of mine and my buddies. So we ended up leaving there and driving up to Maryland Live and played blackjack at $15 a hand with great rules at Maryland Live, 3 to 2, of course, but they also let you surrender and the dealer stands on soft 17.
Nice.
Anyway, I ended up doubling my money there, and we ended up leaving. I'm going to go ahead and call back in with some other stories that I had as well that I think you'll enjoy about playing craps.
And Ethan did call back, but I think I'm going to save that for next episode because we're kind of going long.
This will be
but,
to be continued.
Yeah, he's got a good crap story.
God, he's lucky he got to go to LSU, Alabama.
Yeah.
That's a big game.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big game down there. I was rooting for LSU. I don't want to offend my Alabama friends,
all right.
but I was rooting for LSU.
Okay, all right. Well, the negative things that we have been hearing about MGM National Harbor are basically what Ethan said, was that it's cramped, it seems cramped, and things are way too expensive.
Right.
So,
but I think the expensive is going to go down.
Yeah, that
and I think
probably
the cramping
will go down.
probably will too, because
once they get a sense of how things need to be laid out,
flow, they'll change it. You know, casinos are always changing their layouts.
Sure.
I mean, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, the general layout stays the same, but they move machines around and stuff, and they'll figure it out.
Hopefully that'll change. Yeah. All right, we're going to have one more call here because Al from San Diego has been hearing a lot about you hitting these absurd bets like all small tall and fire bets.
And I know Al's not big on those. He's a very structured, conservative type player.
He is. All right. Well,
and that's good.
All right, let's hear from Al.
Woo, woo, woo. Pull over. This is the gambling police. Officer Al from San Diego. Give me the dice. You're done. You are done. I just want to know, hearing your report was kind of just on the cusp of you coming back. Dr. Mike, have you decided you're going to kind of give it up? Because to have that run at the tables 4 times in 2 years, to have what's happened to you occur. One of the reasons I know that we do this is to see something like that happen or to have it happen to ourselves. I mean, what's next that you'd like to see to do? What aspirationally, what could there possibly be? And by the way, we're sick of it happening. Knock it off. Not right. Congratulations, I guess. Anyway, the other reason I called is, Mark, I know you saw Star Wars late again. I think it's time for a brief review if you have time on the show. Anyway, I look forward to maybe seeing you guys in the chat room at the Trippy Awards on Saturday. And I love the podcast. What you guys do is totally terrific. And I do want you to know I will keep track of my backpack full of $5,000 next time. Thank you.
God, I keep thinking about that. We're at the airport. Yeah. Hey, there's Al. Al, how you doing? He's just got this panicked look on his face.
Like, oh my God.
We're laughing because it turned out okay, but
yeah.
Hey, Al,
I would have been a lot more panicked. Believe me, I would have been my pants there.
Well, yes. So this Saturday is the Trippies are going to announce it. Yeah, I will be there. I don't know if you'll be there. It's too hard for you to figure it all out.
There's
but I'll be
giveaway
listening.
At Harrah's.
Oh, on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm going
okay.
to that.
All right. Well, I'll be listening. Yeah, Star Wars. I'm not going to talk about it to any extent, but I loved it. You saw it too, right, Mike?
Yeah.
So
now, do you think that the standalone movie, quote, standalone movie, was the best of them all?
Of them all?
Yeah.
I'm not going to comment. Well, let's talk about it offline because I don't want to say that. I'm not, I haven't even.
There are critics who are saying that.
And I can understand why. I can certainly understand why.
I thought it was very good.
It was very good. And my wife, who's not really a Star Wars fan, she really enjoyed it. So
I think it was more. It was better for people who aren't Star Wars fans.
Okay, that I'll go along.
Some of the other movies.
I can't say for sure, but it seems like you're right. Yeah. So anyway, thoroughly enjoyed it. So.
Al, I hope I don't know where I go from here. I mean, we have had some amazing luck the last couple of years. And I was telling Mark this before we started talking tonight. I want to reiterate, we don't win all the time.
No, we don't. It's just that the winning stories are more fun. Yeah.
I mean, what would we say about 2 weeks before? We went and got our butts kicked. And it was
how much more can you say?
It was
so then a 7 came up and we lost.
And we lost.
The next shooter guy came and picked up the... it's
so
true,
it's fun to talk about the winnings, but we do lose quite a bit too.
Yeah.
And, it all evens out. I mean, doesn't quite even out. I wish it all evened out. But
you have good days and bad days.
We have
How
good
about
days
that?
and bad days. Yeah. But you know what? I'm just waiting for that next 6.
I think what needs to happen is some company needs to come out with an even more stupid side bet for you to bet on, and then you'll win. Some ridiculous thing.
It's like an 85% house edge or something, right?
Right, and you win.
And then I win that.
That's right. I own the casino. Yeah, we do have some more voicemails and emails, but we're running along, so we'll talk about it next time. So that's going to do it for this episode. Hey, we want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, Yahui, he says, 1 well drink each for you guys. Hope I can hit my Royal next week, then turn myself into a craps player. Thanks, Yahui. Also, a PayPal donation from Michael. Thank you very much. Also, another PayPal donation from Chris. He said, wish me luck and lots of hard 6s and 8s on a Vegas trip with my wife and friends next weekend. Good luck to you, Chris.
Hard 6.
Oh, yeah. Mike gave me this big lecture about how forget the hard 8, all right? Just
hard
the hard 6.
Just the hard 6s. My wife and I were talking about that in bed one night. Yeah. She's like, just concentrate on the hard 6.
Oh, God.
No, it came out bad, but we were talking about craps.
Great. Also, thanks very much to Marty for a very generous PayPal donation. We really appreciate it, Marty. Thank you very much. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program to search through all the raw American TV data. Just go to our webpage, youcanbetonthat.com, and click on the link at the top that says TV listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonthat. We tweet when we're heading to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonthat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. Hey, I want to say a very happy birthday to my beautiful wife, Sherry. Today actually is her birthday as we're recording this.
As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, God, it is. It's the 4th.
We're down here in the basement. She's upstairs, and we're recording the show. So thank you very much to my wife for putting up with all this.
She was taking out the trash when I got here on her birthday, Mark.
I know. I'm sorry. Let's wrap this up so I can head upstairs. What do you got for us, Mike?
Oh, gosh, I don't know what to say. Football season is winding down. I hope everyone enjoys the playoffs.
Yep.
Who's your pick?
Oh, for the NFL playoffs?
Yeah. AFC, NFC champs. Come on,
Dallas,
quick.
Dallas, and
New England.
And New England, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's going that way.
Yeah.
And I agree with the New England, but I'll tell you, the NFC, that could go.
I know. I'm gonna go Dallas.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers do it.
All right.
So anyway, we're excited about that. We've got a poker tournament coming up in a couple of weeks.
That's right.
I'm excited about that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to go back to Harrah's this weekend.
I know. After a big win, it's just you're thinking, I got to get back
And you
there.
know what? We were so disciplined. Because that was Thursday night.
Yes.
And we had Friday off, we had Saturday off, we had Sunday off, we had Monday off.
Yes, that's right.
And we could have easily gone. I even thought about, maybe I'll run out to Hollywood real quick.
Yeah.
And, we didn't. And that is great.
Yeah, it's going to make this Friday even that much sweeter.
Yeah, that much sweeter. I hope we're not crying on Saturday.
Oh, we will be.
Yeah. One of these Saturdays we will be.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.